Good evening there, fellow YouTuber. This is James from Resurva, and I am going to be setting up a Resurva example for a brewery. And what we're going to be setting up is the ability to handle tours for customers through the brewery. And we'll also add some specialty services like perhaps consulting for custom branded beers for a company, or providing services for some corporate use cases such as parties, I don't know, events, all that good stuff. So the example I'll set up this evening is going to be geared towards any kind of tour. So this could be applicable to production facilities such as specialty manufacturer of chocolates or candies. Somebody that has wine tastings at a winery. And then in my case here, I'm going to be setting up tours of or tastings at a brewing facility, and we're going to roll with the name Resurva Brewery Co. And our person setting it up tonight is the Mr. Don Rickles. Anyways, so we'll get started, and I'm going to create my account here. So we'll get the trial activated, and I'm going to go through all the basic setups here. We'll be based in Toronto, Ontario. I'm going to make my times perhaps like 1 or 2 hours, depending on how we want to roll with things. I think I'll start with an hour tonight, and we'll start with Mondays as our first day. So I'll hit continue. At first, I'm going to set up the one-on-one services. So tonight, what I'll do is I will set up the corporate consulting services for the one-on-one services, and I'll hit save. And basically, other than that, I will get going on setting up everything else. So we'll make these, let's say, 30-minute durations, and I'll hit continue. For the providers, there's a variety of ways we could set it up. You could actually set up people to conduct a tour, so you could have the tour guide. So we could have, say, like tour guide 01, or you could actually have the people who are involved. So we could have, for instance, let's see, we could have Eric Wareheim, keeping the comedy theme going, as our first tour guide. And we could have John C. Riley as our second tour guide. And we could make our third tour guide, we could make that just a general person, maybe just front desk or whoever's working there that day, so that that person can offer services such as the corporate consulting, or the just personal consulting for like weddings, things like that. So I'll make a front desk provider as well. I'll click save. I'll click continue here. I'm going to set my schedule. So what we can do is we can be closed on Mondays, and the general hours of the brewery are going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm going to open up a little later on, we'll push it to 11 on Saturday. Can't start too early because of legal rules for doing the tours. But anyways, we'll start at 12 p.m. every day. I should have done that at first, but that's okay. I'll make Friday an 11 p.m. end time. I'll do the same thing for Thursday as well because people love going out on Thursday nights because it's almost the weekend. Wednesday we'll make that a shorter day, so we could say start our day at 2 p.m. and we'll only be open till say 10 p.m. And I think we can also do the same thing on Tuesday as well. We'll be open from 2 till 10, a little shorter. Um, and then on Sunday, we'll keep it, we'll make that maybe a 1 p.m. start time. And we'll make that, we'll be ending at, let's say, 10 p.m. on Sundays. And okay, so what we can do now is we can set up the tour guides. So what I'll do is I'll have Eric be working from 2 to 10 on Tuesday and Wednesday, and on Thursday we can make John work the whole time as well. Actually, he'll just work a little later on Saturday and Sunday. Maybe we'll make him start at 3 p.m. so he's not working too long, and we'll do the same thing on Saturday. So we'll start a little later in the day, and then from 1 till 10 on Sunday, he can work that because he'll be good. And we'll make the front desk always available so we can always handle walk-ins while the brewery is open for business. Okay, so we got the basics set up. I'm going to go online. I'm also going to set up my address and phone number with all the basics on there. So we're on 123 Brew Street, Toronto, Ontario, M5A4A3. And we'll click save. And we are good. So those are the basics set up there. So I'll just add in my logo and branding just to get going. We haven't set up any group services yet, so we'll get started on those very soon. I'm going to add a header image here. So we'll do our Resurva Brewery Co. And I'll click save, and that'll get added there. And again, if you always want to see what's going on as a customer, you can open an incognito or private window in your browser of choice to get started on stuff. So here we go. You can see I got my logo in there, got the basic address information, and we are good to go with the basic corporate consulting service that we offer. What we're actually going to do now, we need to enable group services if we want to be offering the tours or the tastings. So I think that's what I'll do. We'll do tastings that will be, tours that'll be conducted by either Eric or John, and we'll do tastings that can be accommodated in the tasting area, which is something we can set up in a little bit. So what I'll do right now is I'll go to settings, app settings. If I go to services here, I can enable group service management. So if I turn that on, I will click save. And you know what I'll do? I'll also show the service costs in the booking form, and I think we'll be pretty good there. So once I've got that enabled, now under manage and then manage, I have a new option called group services. So I'm just going to go set it up. And what I'm going to do to get started is I'm going to create a couple templates, which will become the general services that we offer for tastings as well as for the tours of the brewery. So the new template will roll with, we'll call the first one a brewery tour. And what we're going to do is we're going to call it a tour, and the cost for the tour is nothing. It's free. So take a 1 hour tour of Resurva Brewery Co. to learn about our history. So this could be similar to, I guess, taking a tour at something like the Guinness Factory or Guinness Museum, which is pretty awesome. As a non-drinker myself, I even enjoyed it. So if you're ever in Dublin, check it out. Oops, sorry. I clicked off on something there. I'm going to set this up again. So we're going to make the brewery tour. And I'm going to allow clients to book more than one slot at once. So somebody could book 4 or 5 slots for their family or friends. I'm going to call this a tour. The tour will be free. If you're a bigger organization, you can add a cost to it, and you can also charge, which we can get into after I got the basic setup done. But I'll type in the description again here. So learn about our history and how we got started. Or learn about what we do, our history, and how we got started. I'll click save here, and I've got my brewery tour in there, and then I'm going to do a tasting as well as another I guess service that or template that we're going to set up. The cost for the tasting will be $25 a person, and you sample our product line, which is paired with choice foods to maximize flavor combos. You can tell I'm making stuff up here. Okay, so I'm going to hit save. This is a $25 service. And basically we got our 2 group services set up now. So we've got the tour component, which again you can set up and create as a service that's accessible on the hour or every 2 hours or however long the tour is going to be. And then the tasting can also be the same. You're not restricted to like setting it to whatever you set your time slots to. You can actually deviate from that. So I'll show you how to do that. What I'll do is I'm going to set up a week here of services very quickly. So what I could do is I could set up the tours, which I'm just going to have to take a quick glance at my schedule to see what days our tour guides are working. So we've got Eric doing the tours on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we got John doing the tours on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So what I'll do here, I'll just make a quick mental note there. I'll go back to the group services, and I'm going to set up the tours that Eric's gonna conduct. So I've clicked on 3 days here to get my base template all set up. So if I click here, I click on add, I will make the first tour time, there'll be 2-hour slots, and what we can do is we can make them for a maximum of 20 people. I can do the same here for these other days as well. They can be from 2 to 4. And I guess I could also just set up some later date ones as well. I could set something up to run from 4 to 6, and then 6 to 8, and and 8 to 10. So I'll just do those quickly right now for the days that Eric's working. So I've got those set up. I'll add his second slots there. So maybe we'll do 5 to 7. We'll give him an hour break there, just so that he can recover and get some rest, because nobody likes to be overworked. And we'll get those all set up and rocking for him. So those are done there. And I'll set up the last times for him, which would be 8 to 10. So if I add those in real quick, I'll just click on add here. So we could do 8 to 10, 8 to 10, and we'll make those 20 as well. So from 8 to 10 p.m. and you can see the provider gets selected here. You can actually change who provides that service if we've got everyone offering it. So I'll click on save again, and we got everything set up with Eric. And now I'm going to go and set up the brewery tours for that John's going to offer as well. So maybe I'll just do Friday, Saturday. I'll add those in to start at like again, since we're working a little we're starting a little later. I'll make those 3 to 5. 3 to 5. We'll make that 20, and we'll make that 20 as well. What I can do is I can add another time on the 24th, which would be 6 to 8. Another time on the 25th, which would be 6 to 8. And then on the 24th, we'll do a 9 to 11. And on the 25th, we'll do a 9 to 11. And we'll click save there. And on the Sunday, I'm going to add a couple more times for him. We'll keep Sunday short. We'll only do 2 tours on Sunday. And we'll basically set those up so that actually I'll go into this week, because I'll show you how we can use this as our base template going forward. So if I just click on let's see, we'll do a 2 to 4 on Sunday, and we'll do 5 to 7 brewery tour on Sunday. So we got our basics set up there. This is a full week. If you want to just take a look here, I'm going to open the incognito window. I'm going to call up my Resurva instance here, and we'll see that we've got the tour. So learn about what we do, our history, and how we got started. I can click in here, and then I can see all my choices. So we got a 2 to 4, 5 to 7, 8 to 10, and same thing on any other day that's active right now. So we've only done this 1 week. I'm also going to set up some tasting slots. So before I go ahead and do that, though, I'm going to make a new provider and just call it the tasting area, maybe. And what I'll do is that'll be an area reserved for people to do tastings, where they can book in. And what I'll do is I'll just offer the tastings is there. Front desk will just offer the corporate consulting. John C. Riley will only offer the brewery tours, and Eric Orheim will only offer the brewery tours as well. I think I'm pretty happy with that. So for the tasting area, what I'm going to do, again, I'm just going to check my group, or sorry, my main schedule here. So we're open from 2 to 10, 2 to 10, 12 to 11, 12 to 11, and 12 to 11, and 1 to 10. Maybe what I'll do, just to keep this super simple, I'm going to add a nice little, or I'm going to open a new tab, and what I'll do is I'll go to group services here, and I'm also going to call this tastings, just because it sounds better, plural. Oh, and you know what I need to do too? I also need to allow clients to book for more than one person. So what I'm going to do, maybe what I'll do on Sunday, since we are open from 1 to 10, I'm going to make that tastings last 2 hours, give people 2 hours to be there, and we'll just let them stack up one after the other. So maybe what I'll do is I'll open at 12, just so that it plays better. I could do 5 sessions on Sunday, from 12 to 10. And what I'll do is I'll add the tastings in here. So I'll do a 12 to 2. Maybe our tasting area is a little smaller, so we'll have 12 chairs. And what I can do is I can also add 2 to 4. And I just got to make our, oops, you know what I didn't do? I don't think I clicked on our tastings area. On providers, I didn't set up our tastings provider to offer this service. It looks like he's all good to go here. Oh, you know what I got to do? I got to add availability for that provider. So that's one thing you just got to watch out for, is when you do add a provider, you got to set them up to be available. So I'm just going to check off this person here, and basically get that, or that provider, and get the tasting area all good to go. It's going to keep the general hours of the operation going, so people can book in whenever it's needed. So I will now go and add the services under group services here. And basically, because it's the middle of this week, I'm just using this week as our go-to, because I want to get everything going, so I can use the copy and paste and just create like 5 or 6 weeks of availability for the both the tours and the tastings. So I'll start off on Sunday. I'm going to add in the start time of 12 and the end time of 2, and we're going to have 12 slots here. And what I'll do is I'll just keep adding those on. So I'll do the 2 to 4. I'll do the 4 to 6. I'll do the 6 to 8. And I'm also just going to have to change these all to the tasting area, which I didn't do. I'll do that right now. And then the last time would be from 8 to 10. And that's it. So I'll get Sunday set up, and that's all good to go. And then I'll rip through I'll rip through Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with my taste, with the tasting times. So again, we'll start at 12, and at 2 we'll have 12 slots here, and the provider will be the provider for the tasting here will be you know what, I'm just going to check my start times. Sorry, on Wednesday we start at Tuesday and Wednesday we start at 2 p.m. So I'm just going to have to create those time slots on Tuesday and Wednesday. So for the tastings here, we will go from 2 to 4. We'll have 12 slots in there. And we'll have the tasting area take care of that. 2 to 4 here. We'll have the 12 slots here. And I'll just add here on the 22nd. I'll actually delete those, and I'll just get in the basics here. So we'll save those there, and I'll add just to save some time. I'll just add one on each of those days so we don't have to go crazy setting up every time. But if you did want to just reference what your times are, you could always just have the tab open and you can see, okay, on Sunday we're open from 12 to 10, Saturday 12 to 11, Friday 12 to 11, Thursday 12 to 11. Tuesday and Wednesday we open a little later just because they're not as busy. Those days aren't as busy. So I'll just add one tasting on each day just to keep things quick and get a basic setup done. So 2 to 4, we'll do 2 to 4 on the 24th, and we'll do 2 to 4 on the 25th. So once I click save here, I've got my basic setup done. I can use the copy paste feature, and I can paste that week in down below. I can go to the next month and I can paste my week there as well. So I could very quickly get a few weeks of availability set up. The cool thing is once I'm done here and I want to edit things, so say this week here I wanted to make some deviation to that and I wanted to add an extra tasting, I could do that very quickly by making tastings last from 2 to 6 and 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. And what I would suggest is, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. and we'll make the tasting area the provider there. So it should be 6, sorry. So if I add those in, basically I could copy this week and make that my week my base template going forward. So that's a really powerful user feature we've added to the group services, where you can create the weekly templates. The awesome thing is like you can always deviate from that by adding or removing services, and you remove services from the main schedule, which we can take a look at very shortly, and you can add all of the main services from manage, or the group services from manage group services. But one tip I'm going to give is I'm going to show you how to set an availability window so that you can always manage those weekly templates. I know there's times, for instance, right now it's the end of November, so it's a busy time for a lot of these types of businesses where you'll be adding extra hours in some cases before the holidays, and then during the holidays, you've got Christmas Day, Boxing Day. Those days you'll be closed probably, so you'll want to just remove availability for those days, which again you can do by either just canceling certain services. So for instance, on November 22nd it might be a short day, so again you can cancel this tour so that nobody can go on a later tour date on the 22nd because either Eric can't be there, or you're closing early for a staff party, or you're just altering your schedule for that week because it's a slow week for whatever reason. But what I'll do is I'll show you how to set up a booking window so that you can always manage and control your schedule, and always have time to make changes to the schedule 4 or 5 weeks in advance, so that you can anticipate, like, slower periods or periods where you'll have a lot more customers passing through the doors. And so you'll do that under settings, app settings, and you'll set a last booking date. So I'm going to set the last booking date, make it active. I'll make it a variable date, and I'm going to set it to 3 weeks. So if I click save here, that will never allow anybody to book out more than 3 weeks in advance. So every night at 12 a.m., a new day of availability will open up. And as long as you're managing your schedule 4 to 5 weeks in advance, you're getting staff to give you their holidays, or you're adding or removing times based on busy or slower periods, or federal, state, provincial holidays. You'll always be in control of the experience, and you'll never have to cancel bookings for customers. So I'll just open up an incognito window, and basically you'll see everything set up so that I can do the brewery tour. I can do the tastings. There's a cost associated with the tastings of $25. And then we also have the corporate consulting. I should probably give that a better description. So again, if I want to go to services here, what I'll do is I'll go to the settings. You can change the color of the service. What I'll say is like, let us help you organize your event, your corporate or charity event. Come and speak with us. So I'll click save here. I can add an image to this too. I can add it to all the services as well, just so you can add a little more visual punch to the experience. But I'll click save here. Okay, so now when I go back to the Resurva Brewery Co., you can see here that I've added a nice little description about the corporate consulting. We do have the brewery tour, which probably would be the most popular service for this business. The tastings would be secondary. So the booking process is pretty straightforward. Again, you can see all the days where there's availability, and because I've set that 3-week window, people could only book to the 12th of December right now. So if I were to click on here, you would see that there's the tastings in the tasting area, which we can I can change the name of that to give it just a better description. So like, let's see here. If I go to manage and then group services, I could call, what could I call it? I could just call it beer tastings, or beer pair. Yeah, we'll call it beer tastings, or brew tastings. We're all about the brewing here, so we'll call it that. And what I can do is I can do I'll change the provider just so I could make it sound a little better. We'll call it the Resurva Brewery RBC tasting area, or tasting patio, just so it sounds like a destination you want to be. So I've changed the name there, and I'm just going to reload what the customer would see. And basically here you've got your brew tastings. So if I go in here for that date, you got your brew tastings from 2 to 4 with the RBC tasting patio. If I click on here, I can select how many people I want to have there. I click on continue, and it'll show me all my booking details. Click on to continue again, and it just asks me to log in to complete my appointment. At this point, if you have enabled payments, you will enforce the client or the client will be forced to enter their credit card details to secure the spot. We also have a card hold option, and you can enable the payments from settings, app settings, and then you go to payments. If I click on enabled, I click save here. Just go back to the payments, and then what I need to do is I need to have a Stripe account, which I can just log into. And once I click on the Stripe button here, I'm able to set a whole bunch of options for collecting payments from customers. We do have a card hold cancellation protection feature as well, which is awesome. So you could set like a 24-hour cancellation policy that you can enforce. So if somebody does try to cancel late, they will still be charged. Likewise, if they no call, no show you, they'll be charged and you're not accepting prepayment. Cut and dry. Easiest operation would be to just accept payment ahead of time, and then you got your money, and everyone's paid up, so that when they get in, all they need to do is worry about having a good time on your tour, or your at your winery or your analog coffee bar, whatever you're doing, or your cookie factory, your candy factory, whatever it is you're offering public access to that they normally wouldn't get a chance to see. I mean, you could even use this for even if you have like a manufacturing facility and you want to offer the general public the ability to come in and see what you're doing. You could create tours there very easily. So yeah, that's really everything you need to do to get Resurva set up to manage sort of a facility tour, or group bookings within an experience-based business. So, again, we've seen people use this for things like tastings at breweries. We've seen people use Resurva to do tastings at wineries. We've seen people use Resurva to do analog coffee bar reservations at coffee shops. We've seen people offer Resurva to do factory tours of candy making facilities, things like that. So yeah, it's very versatile, but also straightforward. I think the biggest stumbling block to get over is to just get comfortable with using the group services and setting up that template so that you're really stoked on optimizing your schedule and making sure that you've got your providers set up in a logical manner so that you've got people who are in charge of, say, your providers in this case. Like if somebody leads the tour, you're actually referencing the person that works that time slot. So I've got an Eric here, I've got a John. The front desk is who we're gonna do, who's gonna just be reserved for doing the corporate consulting work. We've got the RBC tasting patio, which is just doing the brew tastings and pairings. So you have a bit of a food service and you let people sample all of the different products or food or beverage products that you offer. Last thing, I guess we can just check the schedule here real quick. I'm going to zoom in just so I can get a better view of the day. If somebody does call in, I can add a person, so I could add like Jimmy Dean, enter his phone number in there. He's called in. I could enter his email in there too, but I'm going to set him to have a text reminder, even though, again, that's for today. He won't get that because our text reminders go out at 12, or sorry, at 1 p.m. local time. The front desk here, somebody has called in, they want to talk to us about, I don't know, doing a special kind of brew for a charity event that they're doing later this year. So again, it could be like Susan Watkins is coming in. She's coming in to see us at 3 p.m. today. So we'll imagine that it's actually 9:36 a.m. instead of 9:36 p.m. So she's got to come in and talk to us about this great event she's got planned. I'm not going to set a text reminder for her. I'll request the booking. So again, we've got 30 minutes reserved for Susan Watkins at the front desk, so she can talk to us about whatever her business has got planned. Again, if somebody calls in, they want to do tasting, I can add 4 people on behalf of Bob Glenn. Again, I can enter his phone number in. It'd probably be better to be doing this for tomorrow instead of today. So again, I can just request the four bookings for him. As you can see here, we got Bob Glenn party in there. I can remove one of these people. So say Bob calls back and he's like, oh, I need to remove someone, I can remove them. Again, somebody calls for a Friday booking. You can see here your schedule. So Eric's off on Friday, but John is going to be covering the tours. So, again, this guy, Dude Love, calls in, and he's going to have 10 people come. You're going to want to obviously take his credit card, because you don't want him to no call no show you. But you'll get the payment details arranged either by him sending an EMT or paying you online or doing whatever you do to get yourself covered. But I could set a text reminder to be sent to him. So tomorrow at 1 p.m. on Thursday, he would get his reminder for his booking of 10 people for the brewery tour. And that's pretty much it. Like a lot of these bookings you'll start to see come in from people going online. If you got a really good website, it's super easy to embed Resurva into your website using the iframe widget, or you can link out to your .resurva.com address. I will show a really good example of our website service in action. So we've got our buddies at Crow's Nest Barbershop. They excuse me. They've been using our website service for quite a while, and they basically have the ability to, well, they don't basically, they do have the ability to take bookings directly by the service provider. So if I book on, say, Jehu, I can actually see what his availability is. He works at a few locations for them as he moves around. But we could help you set this up on your website as well, so your people are able to book the services directly. So they can click on a link and book a tasting. They can click on the link, book the tour, or they can book one of the consulting services. So that is a really elegant way and frictionless way to get people booking in with you. Likewise, if you do go the embedded route, it's very easy for people to make the booking as well, or either through the embedded iframe or by linking out to another website, linking out directly to your Resurva website instance. Last thing I'm going to touch on, if you don't want to offer any one-on-one services, what you can do is you can just delete that service after it's done, after you've done the basic setup. But we do, during the initial setup process, you do need to have at least one-on-one service in order to get everything set up with the multi-service selection. So you can go to the services here, and if you do not want to offer the corporate consulting, that's something you can either make it something that you only offer internally by making it hidden from your clients, or you can just archive it. So other than that, I think that's it. It's like, this is how you can manage bookings at your facility, where you're doing tours, or you're offering people the ability to book in an experience for a group of a varying size. So as always, if there's any more questions, you can hit us up, support@resurva.com. You can respond, or you can ask a question below, or you can hit us up on our chat or give us a phone call.